creating realistic wood replications using SmoothCast 320 urethane casting resin and URE-FIL 5 powder filler. This is the second part of a two-part video tutorial. So if you guys would like to check out the mold making portion of this project, click on the link in the description below and that will take you to that video. Now, today we're going to be showing you how to use casting resin and fillers to recreate realistic wood grain effects in your castings. And we set up a couple of goals in our video that we're trying to achieve. Number one goal is to create the wood grain effects, and for that we'll be using the SmoothCast 320 and the URE-FIL 5. We're also going to show you how to combine multiple colors to achieve the original wood color that we're trying to replicate. So we're going to be using the So Strong pigments for that, as well as how to finish the casting for a realistic wood effect. Now let's just jump into this project and see how it's done. To start the casting process, we first need to put the mold boxes together that we prepared in the previous video. Now, after putting the two parts of our two-part mold together, we're going to put some melamine boards around and then put some rubber straps on them. This allows the pressure that the rubber bands put on the mold to be evenly distributed. Same thing goes for the smaller mold. It does have those shims we created in the middle, and to make sure that there's minimal flashing, we're going to put even pressure all the way around. Now the last mold here is just a rectangular block and does not really require any rubber band or wood support around it. So we're just going to cast that one as it is. For this project, we're going to be using the SmoothCast 320. Now, this product has a 1-to-1 mix ratio by volume. While the work time is 3 minutes, a cure time is going to be achieved after 10 minutes. Now, most important about this product is that it actually is an off-white color, and that's one of the main reasons why we're going with this casting resin. It is much easier to pigment the off-white color than trying to fight a bright white or even trying to go from a clear to a wood color. As always, make sure that you follow all the instructions in the technical bulletin and premix the part A and part B thoroughly before dispensing. The part B gets dispensed first for two reasons. First off, the part A is moisture sensitive, even for atmospheric moisture, and we're going to be adding the pigments to the part B. So we're going to add some So Strong pigments to try to mimic the original color of the wood carvings that we have. So Strong orange, So Strong brown, and So Strong red are mixed together to achieve a final color. You can see here on the mixing stick that the color of the part B that's mixed with the So Strong colors is quite dark. And again, that goes into understanding that it will brighten up once I mix the A and B together and the resin actually cures because of the resin's natural off-white color once it cures. The URE-FIL 5 is your best choice for creating wood grain effects. While some fillers are designed for cost savings, the URE-FIL 5 is a specific filler designed for replicating wood grain effects. Keep in mind that your mold must reflect a wood grain pattern so that your castings will look realistic. To minimize the possibility of moisture contamination with your URE-FIL powder fillers, make sure to keep the bag with the URE-FIL tightly secured and minimize any kind of air that's in the bag. In case you do need to remove the moisture out of the URE-FIL, follow the instructions on the technical bulletin on how to bake out the URE-FIL fillers. I will also here include a link to a video where we actually baked out the URE-FIL before adding it to the resin. Now we're going to dispense the powder at one part of the A, one part of the B, and one part of the URE-FIL 5 by volume. The URE-FIL is mixed in with the part B thoroughly, making sure that there's no lumps once the mixing procedure is complete. And then we can go ahead and dispense the part A. As always, when working with urethane resins, you want to wait to dispense the part A as your last step because it is moisture sensitive, even to the moisture in the air. The three components are now combined together and mixed thoroughly by scraping the side and scraping the bottom off the mixing container. Keep in mind the SmoothCast 320 has a working time of 3 minutes with a cure of 10 minutes. So keep that in mind as you're mixing the material. We can now go ahead and pour into our molds. So you can see these are set up and ready to go. The material is allowed now to cure for 10 minutes. And now we can go ahead and demold our castings. And here are my more difficult pieces. So the one with the 7 heads came out just fine, no problem. And here is the casting of the Louison with the 4 legs that we had to separate. And here you can see a detailed casting of that. You can kind of see the flashing there, but it's so thin that I can simply rub my finger against the flashing and it's going to pop out of the casting. So the post-finishing work on a mold like this is very, very minimal. The rest of the figurines coming from the block mold have just as little flashing on them. And that flashing is easily removed with a scraping tool or a knife, and then the figurines are ready for the finishing touches. To finish our castings, I'm going to use some brown shoe polish. I have some different colors here to experiment with, but I'm going to end up using the brown shoe polish to give our figurines their final look. Let that sit for a couple of minutes, and then I'm going to come back and wipe any of the extra shoe polish off so it doesn't just sit on the castings. The shoe polish is now allowed to fully dry before being handled. And here you can see several of the castings that we made right next to the actual model figurines, and you can really not distinguish which ones are the casting and which ones are the originals. So the benefit of making a mold and casting figurines like these versus hand carving each one individually every time is an enormous money saving in the time and effort that it takes to actually create one of these pieces. Now, if you got inspired by our project and you need some material to give your own projects a go, you can visit any one of our distributors around the world. So, and there you have it, a step-by-step procedure that I use to create wood grain effects in my castings using the SmoothCast 320 and the URE-FIL 5. Now, let's just go quickly over our project goals. We were able to create wood grain effects using the SmoothCast 320 and the URE-FIL 5 for our castings. We also showed you how to combine multiple colors to achieve the original wood color that we're replicating, as well as how to finish the casting for a more realistic wood effect. Now, if you have an idea about what we should do next, please let us know down in the comments below. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up button. To keep up with our latest mold making, casting, and other videos, remember to subscribe.